And we are live.
Hello, and welcome to Three Amigos live poetry night. Our first reader tonight is Max Myers. Max Myers has been a Sacramento, California resident for some years, inspired to write by a world of natural beauty, loving friendships, and the magical and mystical spiritual relationship between all things. Max has been writing poetry and short essays for at least the last 60 years. A self-taught poet, writer, he is an artist, musician, beekeeper, who has traveled around this beautiful country, seeing the profoundly impressive and magical sights and spending time meeting the wonderful people who make up the color and flavor of America. There's so much to observe and document, and as Walt Whitman said, one discovers the song of thyself. Max has self-published several books, which are available on Amazon Books or Google Max Myers Books. Hi, Max.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well today. Breezy fall day. I love it.
Oh, yes. Here too. I love it. You have a brand new book out too now, right? Do you want to say anything about that before we start?
Yeah, it's about 85 pages. It's written since August, from August through the beginning of October, and it's called Nowhere to Go But Here, and it's available on Amazon. It's only $3.99, or I think it's and that's in paperback, and I think it's might be $2.99 in on Kindle. So there you have it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you too, and thanks for being with us. And I'll give you the floor.
All right. The first poem I'm going to read is it's called A Fall Day. One may wait for days like this, when the weather is just so, as the summer tries one last time to heat before it has to go. But oh, these few days one surely finds more than memories can recall, amazing like no other kinds, the best among them all. The next one is called Love. There is a force that throughout time has placed a thought upon the mind. The need for love is always there, someone to hold near and to care. Perhaps it's more than nature's need to perpetuate the human race with seed. Still, when eyes meet eyes, a wordless pass from heart to heart with just that glance. I hear the cautious voices in my mind, assessing if I've made the long sought find. Will this be the love I seek, a love in kind, or has my lonely heart gone blind? The next poem is called What? And I wrote this poem out of frustration with the distraction of pain. Makes me forgetful and it's kind of spaced out anyway. It's called What? Time is eating me without stop. Memory short is disappearing. I reflect on decisions made shocked. What was that missing? Did I forget what was routine? What it last week or this week? Have I lost myself to obscure effort? Effort essential. Where has it gone? The pain in my head is driving. My face seems to be losing form. Teeth moving at will ache, eyes blurring, forgetting their intention. I sense an absence, a diminishing self. Without steady, even traction, limping, sliding into some unknown universe. My face hurts, my head stammers. What was I last doing Was that yesterday? Did I? Or was I going to take my meds? Time is eating me without stop. This next little poem is called Details. There's a couple of old phrases. One goes, the details are, the devil is in the details. And the other phrase, which seems to contradict that, is God is in the details. So I call this one Details. The devil is in the details, or God is in the details, you hear some people say. One is caution, the other is completeness, but get to it anyway. There's sure to be some struggles found when working through a task, but once it's finished and complete, satisfaction comes at last. We take caution not to miss a step, lest it end up incomplete, realizing with pride our thoroughness gives us a restful sleep. Where I sit in my room at the desk, there's a window in front of me, large window. And from this window, I can watch this one little piece of the world go by, see the birds when they come and go, and the traffic when it comes and goes, people pushing their babies down the street, people walking for exercise, people jogging. So I call this one window. My gaze fixed out of the window, the movement of the shrub next to the sidewalk conveys to me that it is windy, while the changing shadows that momentarily paint all as they pass tell me the movements of the clouds overhead. Now and again the sun breaks through. Its sudden light heats everything. Again for only a moment, and it's tucked away behind yet another gray cloud. From within this room where the window looks out, not unlike the weather it seems, any thoughts shaken from memory color the moment and press on, one to the next, warming, cooling, warming. This life is measured in instants of being, present to the winds, clouds, sunlight. Even the night and its dreams are counted. Windows to see out and others to see in, while I sit here writing the complete experience, gazing both out and in the window, sense my completeness with this moment. And, I read recently on some poetry page some poet saying that unless the poet is classical in style and rhymes, that it's not poetry; it's just baloney. And from their viewpoint, it is either a good poem because it rhymes, or not a good poem because it doesn't rhyme. And I said to myself, well, that's just one person's opinion. Doesn't have to be mine. And so I call this poem Doesn't Have to. Like waves on the oceans, we ride our emotions, bear our foolish notions, and go through the motions. We don't need a reason or even a season, whatever is pleasing. It's just how we are. We try to make sense. We sit on the fence, indulge in suspense, while thinking gets dense. But tell me who's counting? What rider's dismounting? It's all so astounding. we wouldn't dare quit. Our time's well worth saving. When we're not misbehaving or quenching a craving, you know what I mean. So let's not be discouraged. Living takes courage. It's strange in this new age where we struggle to engage. Shine your light bright. Light up the night. Keep love within sight, and we'll be all right. This next poem, you know, guys got to have a little sense of humor sometimes. And so this is a humor meant to be humorous. My emoji. In my old age, where sometimes I'm lonely and waiting for someone to come is folly, I finally realized, somehow it came to me, that I had fallen in love with an emoji. Ah, the joy that thrills my heart, being well spaced out from the start. As I looked at that love-filled face so smart, I just knew that emoji and I would never part. The gaze that seldom could be matched, that one special emoji out of the entire batch. So proud to know I got the sweetest catch. Those other emojis I simply trashed. So now my loneliness has passed away. My lovely emoji is here to stay. I'll bring her up with a smile nearly every day. Perhaps we'll marry. Who can say? This next poem is called Heart. One lives a life for love, courageous, foolish, resilient, unable to defend the onslaught, has broken trust and imagination, tear and scar with little regard. Attachments fall asunder, rows and rows of tears flow, sorrow and regret pierce deep. Still, as long as there is life, one will unremittingly continue, ever hopeful, even beyond the doubt that perhaps, just perhaps, one might find that love. I want to say about this poem, Heart, this was in response to a picture that was posted on Three Amigos of a heart that had been torn apart and patched and had spikes in it, and it had places where things had been attached to it. And the idea was to interpret that picture into a poem, and that's where this last poem came from, Heart. I thought that was a very nice picture to work with. This poem is my last poem, and it has to do. I guess, has to do with reflection. It's called Ghosts. Dust fills the air all around, hangs there for minutes before settling. This seldom used road, rutted, lined with the overgrowth of time's passing, once was a destination alive with joy, new and vibrant, rich with surprise. What brought me back to this place now? There's nothing left to take away. Rusted tin water barrel, stone foundation now askew, where the old house stood. Nothing remains but thoughts. Faces come to mind, gentle, loving souls, friends woven into the passing of lives. Our youth and vision born here, the laughter caught by the trees remains, old songs like the dust stirred, our whispers carried with the wind, echoed to the four directions. Thankfulness and companionship, no more than memories of another life. Ghosts of love fill this place. They are all about here. The years have claimed me, and I have become a stranger. But for the spirit I left behind. I want to thank you very much for allowing me to read. It is always a pleasure and a joy to be amongst you kind, wonderful people and share poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. It's always a joy and a pleasure to have you on here. And I loved everything you read today as usual. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I really look forward to when you read. So thank you very much again, Max.
Thank you.
So, Alicia, I think I will get you to read some of the selections that you have chosen from the anthologies. The next portion of the open mic, we will be reading through the anthologies, both Volume 1 and Issue 2. Volume 1, Issue 1, and Volume 1, Issue 2. So we will be reading some selected poetry from there. We will also be reading a couple of responses to prompts that we've put up on our site, Three Amigos, Ink and Splatter. And Alicia, will you be reading any of your work this evening?
No, I don't think this evening I will be.
I think I will read one then. So we'll close off with one of my really long poems. Okay, so I'll leave you to it then.
Okay, thank you. First up, I'm going to read a piece by Mary Grace Gonzales. Mary is an artist, cartoonist, and poet from Pila Laguna, Philippines. Her most recent achievement was the publishing of her poetry book, Where to Find Me. And the title of this piece I will read of hers is Chances Are. The languid tryst of chance and choice, how diurnal the cycle, flow, each days and nights that were bestowed, wake and sleep in this physique. Inordinate must spirit seek. Excuse me. These waking hours please, flowers to adorn great joy or weep, prancing clouds that leap, picking scrabbles bare and stark, butterflies flare, beauty share, dare to live with eyes that are open wide, though ensnared with hearts all broken, gaiety time might ever depart, bloom once more. From scratch to start, to sell more days to kill, bravely speak, still loves within, gushed with never-ending care, that's been always, always there to look for, in unsleep or within sleep, to where there's dream, or with eyes wide open. This life concise or brief, though it may be, an ever wonderful cue where we will find more chances, the languid tryst of chance and choice. Chances are of me, of you. All right. And the next person I will be reading poetry from is Dana Silicondo Durende. And I'm sorry, let me find her bio real quick. I think I might have said that wrong. Dana Siciliano Durende. Dana is a motivational speaker, metaphysical poet, and student of life from Moreno Valley, California. And I will be reading Silence of the Lambs. Silence is the last resource of the soul, the last resort of the lambs led to slaughter, all unknowing. The docility of children, unlearning love, taught by a harsh world. When words are not enough, it is the silence of children who have as yet no words, and it is those silences that mold the deepest wounds. The silence of children that bypasses words and goes so deeply into the soul, and they are forever changed, forever not the same, forever transformed into vessels full of wordless, mute suffering, all unknowing, all unaware, as the children come into being, innocent and damaged, beautiful, look into their wide eyes, and see their souls that speak from the eons of heaven, that speak wordless and true. And next I will be reading a poem by Crispula Bacud Tappa. Crispula is an amazing writer from the Philippines. He entered back into the world of writing to aid his aging brain and help prevent Alzheimer's, or at least slow down its onset. His writing focuses on current issues and has helped him muster up enough courage to come out into the open and share his amazing creations. Most of his best creations were written while lying in bed, with his heart and head on the same level. Crispula's amazing writes can be found on his personal Facebook blogs, Scripts of Olopuling, Olopuling.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has trouble with that. It's a
Definitely not.
mouthful for sure, but it's definitely something that stands out.
Yes, definitely. It is a good one. Okay, and his is called A Vagabond Poem. I am a vagabond poem, homeless and free, a wandering unmetered soul. In many poetry platforms, I invite myself to a cup of free coffee, free to roam in the minds of my host and his friends for a sandwich of likes and commentary. I knock on windows of cars beaten by red lights. I look into your eyes, begging for your time to check your timeline. I'm not begging for a dime. Is it a crime, unnoticed, or just blind? I am a vagabond poem. I travel via the internet and cross the 7 seas to leave an imprint in your mind. I am a vagabond poem, unbound by authorship rights, a free thought to roam in your mind, unrhymed. A vagabond poem, I am, rejected, unliked, and appreciated. Nobody loves a vagabond, unkempt, unshod. Not like a sonnet, very prim and proper, countenance measured, regal in her bearing. Villanelle, prim as well, a complicated character. Haiku, I like her name and everything about her. Elegant in her simplicity, the geisha of poetry. Or a free verse, plump, unbound by rhythm and rhyme. A vagabond poem exists to challenge the rules that men have created, that have kept free thought from flowing freely like calm rivers till it meets the turbulent ocean and becomes one with a bigger purpose. Despite our economic progress and modernization, there still exist vagabonds. They too, like a vagabond poem, challenge the systems created by man. When perfection is the aim, it is far from perfect. Bless the man who welcomes a vagabond into his home. Bless the poet who shares this vagabond poem in his wall. A vagabond poem, I am. All right. And next, I am going to read a piece by Sarah Wheatley. Sarah is a young, avid, creative soul blessed to be brought up into a life of music, love, and the delights of nature, time often camping and exploring in the UK. From her beautiful allotment, shed, and home, she writes songs and poetry about the good things in life versus the more embracing factors, mental health, the awareness of our differences, and vitally for her and others, ways to overcome them. Her works can be found online at Dapplecrack Poetry. Her first self-published book will be available soon on Amazon in the UK. And this piece is called Hairline. I slowly track one finger over the half-born fractures, a slow-motion whirlwind, coddling, dappling their very form with the calm serenity of post-ascension. I, the cause of the hairline. I, the break of the fall. I, the doctor, rushes in after it all. Work slowly now. Recover all the pieces, lest they break again. Worse this time. I glue the hairlines with a mix of organic affair. Freshly washed hair provides the protein of the season. Nutrition functionally acts in lieu of acts of treason in repair of its absence. My soul has been cracked once, twice, thrice again. Ancient tale of old, unfamiliar, familiar friend. I've told myself the story once again, and its major fifth, heart-wrenching stuff. This self-care. Still it tends to happen, the cyclic pattern. Seems inevitable, the pitter-patter, the ineffable, undecorative shatter of self-neglect. Let's see. The next one will be by Deonn Angleton. Dionne calls herself an old blind hippie who enthusiastically relishes poetry and reading in general. Her hometown, Eureka Springs, Arkansas, is a little artsy tourist village nestled in the Ozark Hills of northwest Arkansas, just south of the Missouri border. It is brimming with artists, writers, musicians, and camaraderie. Dionne currently lives in Tucson. This piece is called No Longer Adrift. I set sail on a darkened sea into the unknown loneliness, a life of solitude I did not want, but one which was chosen for me. I set sail to find the gates of hell, towing a dinghy of weeps and tears, I aboard wearing a blackened veil, while the horizon rose and fell. I set sail somberly with no ahoy, throat swollen with salty sobs. I gasped, thrashed, and pleaded with the anchor I now employ. I set sail to the end of all misery. I dreamt a drunken sailor I would be, drowning in the cabin of sorrow, or downcast, hanging ropes binding me. When I set sail, I did not foresee a buoyant moonrise who said, "Your nights of wreckage are through, and the stars are navigating you carefully." I then set sail in safe passage toward land, with purpose, no longer adrift. Hopeful thoughts of what could be. On deck I screamed, I rejoiced, all hands. And the next one, the next poet I will read from is Ali Asgar. Ali is a singer, songwriter, poet, and lover of all things living, ascended master and awakened being. He was most recently published in the quarterly poetry anthology Fine Lines, and Ali currently resides in Mumbai, India. And I am having just a little trouble finding that poem, I'm sorry. All right, here it is, and it is untitled. Let's put aside our differences and see each other's essence is one and the same, a world where every man, woman, and child feel safe. We are one tribe, one fam, it is time to liberate. Integrate, elevate, intimate with great spirit. Whatever you imagine, your heart can make it happen. Wonder of humanity as species, part of divine, the essence, the most high as a guide. Love you beyond measure, it's inside. So feel alive, let children thrive. Imagine the words every day you speak. It's time to get together and uplift. So be the change you want to see in the world. Be authentic, speaking to everyone. You know you are worth it. Living our purpose, every level of fulfillment, a divine union. There you go, being a beautiful, magnificent being, human being, divine.
Okay. Do you have another one of Ali's, or can I just step in and throw one in?
Yep, that was actually my last one, so take it away.
Oh, okay. So since you read one of Ali's, I will just read one more from issue 1. The title is Divinity. The greeting was on the first step of the door, a place of divinity and pure love, of remembrance coming from afar, a bond of its purest form, a friendship that can be put into words. I saw you in everyone and everything, until I realized I was the dreamer in the dream. A paradise inside a pure heart is merciful, beneficial, so much bigger than the universe at large. The once secret hidden from the veil over some eyes, a flame burns of unity inside. A form of nature connected like a web, divine mathematics, everything in its place. All subjects and objects from the same energy. Remember your true self by remembering me. We are one consciousness in a shared lucid dream. Know thyself and know the divine, your true nature projected forth as human being. That's actually a pretty inspiring piece. And if I could just find quickly, he has one more. Maybe. Maybe I'll save his next one for next time. And I will move on to Mary Grace Gonzales's poems from issue 1. Alicia already read her biography, so I won't repeat that. The title of the poem that I'm going to read by Mary Grace is The Ruling of the Flowers. Actually, I'll be reading a few of hers. The ruling of the flowers, hiding in sun's nowhere. Thick nonchalant clouds got me sporting my night. Tresses unbound, I look shocked out of my wits. If their friend tortured by mad heat somebody I used to know belittled, it's Grace that he did went far too, tanning like coal. Oh, but I'm well, exaggerating. I walked past some trees, I noticed how senselessly nature captured to accommodate diverse scents awesomely smelt. I find this unbottled by fragrance companies. I'm minding the morals I get to stumble my foot on. Nothing can duplicate nature, so wreak my pleasure unto overdrive. Today came out too lucky a day is for me. Was I mere shallow, so what? I nibbled much of cheese full stuffed. My cheeks puffed from fluffing. Must I cut over eating? The mirrors just can't lie. I'll try to, if ever. My reading engrossed me a lot. Dickinson got me riddled, in fact, but I'm tangled, romance getting me out of tune. Love's sense is a pleasure I'm well guilty of. Scasmatically stuffed to purge nerds, talk not of those, but that is where my passion lie. I supposed I am. A love junkie, though young? It's spooky. I tried reading this suspenseful crap. The mere idea struck me to death. I get to conjure swoony scenes until I am myself malaised. Hop off to this thinking. Hush. Losing track of time, I'm still but all amused by myself. Much dialogue ensued. Nobody's the audience. How rude am I to camaraderie? Unprepared for a halt, oblivion's put asunder. Behold all the flowers. They're all gay and full bloom. I deduced unlightened, I got derelicted. A pleasing surprise I would met still for today lie in my eyes. I much longer wait to see, sure. All thoughts just flew. Draw me to you, escape me from what's the all self-centered me, the troubled with oneself cry, look where the outside sigh. The next one I will read of Mary Grace's is The Grave I Dress to Wear. The grave I dress to wear, a soul time from some previous day of too many moons ago. Kinda always get me stranded. I'm cooped. Much fond of relieving this one dress, the grave I used to wear. Gone to over but the here, the memory's tight, instilled. Killing me to the bone, wish to replace me to stone. Conspicuous would be my oh, curse the feeble hold. If hell's some other door to fear, it's yet not here. It is the taste test. How is more to come? Sorry about that. My dogs are actually barking in the background. Hopefully they're not too loud. The next poem the next poet I'm going to read is Swatnam Murkajee. Swatnam is an educationalist involved in developing curriculums and methods of teaching. She is passionate in painting, reading, and writing. She has been influenced by the emotions of humanity and the changes around. She's academically obtained a master's in economics and bachelor's in education. She has attended the age of 69, living life with a purpose of betterment in early childhood education and improvement in teaching. And she is a absolutely astonishing poet. The first poem I will read of Swapna's is I Am a Nobody. I think I've read this before, but I'll read it again. I am a nobody and no one. To my name, walking down the street, living unknown as unknown I can be. I am a nobody, walking down the street, living unknown, unbothered, singing to myself, singing to glory. One day I catch a bus, run down the street. I see the stage. I can feel I can be. Steps do I climb. Looking at the massive crowd, jeering at me as I call myself a singer. My unkept attire, my looks, misguided the judges in my capability, who broke into a pool of laughter and never missed a chance to make me. I am a nobody. Count began the piano playing. I thought I'd lose nothing. As I am nobody, got the mic, caught the chords, sang to heart's content. Mind floating with the verses. I am a nobody and no one is mine. The pin drops silence in the audience. Tremble me what wrong I have done. I am just a nobody. I sang as one, tears rolling down the cheeks. Judges in uncontrollable emotions got to hug me tight, saying, you are no longer a nobody. Thousands applaud, broke the silence, and made me, you are today somebody. You are today somebody. The next one I'm going to read of Swapna's is called Stolen Moment. Oops, just one second. Sitting beside the restaurant window, watching out with hope, a cup of coffee, giving company to my excuse. Time rolls by, hope still survives. Fleeting moments spent sitting here, exchanging the moments that sealed my heart, someone else's love. How can she be mine? Only the memories of moment that I stole from her life. Only the moments of memory will remain as mine. Quietly he's got up, collected his coat from stand, gave as if a last look to the place, never to return again. How often does that happen, you know? The next poem that I'm going to read is titled Even Unknown Corpses Ask for Love, but I am dead, lying on the road, crowd peering to have peep for me. I just think, what goes on in her mind? Why this curiosity? Why I want to see a dead one, then coolly walk off the way with a shrug, oh ho. I am dead, lying under the scorching sun, waiting for a Samaritan for my removable crooked body, a decent exit. But visitors kept pouring for a look. How I looked dead, or how pathetic, or how twisted I looked, excited to enjoy newfound joy. To say I saw a dead lying on the road corner by the time. A pretty crowd my body gathered, which in my lifetime I totally failed. I turned to be a disastrous street painter. Among the crowd, one cried out loud, hey, this is that one, pointing finger back, trying to recollect where he saw, as usual, big, crowded finger final. A noble policeman did the needful of his declared unclaimed body. And the next poem is titled Uncertainty. In deep thoughts to unknown fact, waiting with grim heart, the reports, what be the next? Will it be terrifying? Have fallen in the pit, struggle, how long I have. When no hand of solace abandoned, lonely still life. What be next if I could figure how I could overcome? How? The worries paralyzing in me. And that's the last poem I'm going to read of Swapna's. And let's see if I could just quickly grab one. I will read one of Joseph Mykut's. Let's grab his bio for a second here. Joe is a published poet and author of the book Cosmic Poetry, From Darkness Comes Light. I believe he does have another one coming out, as well as he's working on a child's book. He writes from the perspective of a broken and mended mind. His approach is to find the light in the dark, and in all things, then the beauty and the balance of those energies. He pulls his inspiration from his personal and daily experiences. He hopes to connect with people from all walks of life by way of the source that connects every single one of us in existence. His poetry can range from the abstract and is based in the beautiful things of life to diving deep into the depths of the darkness, finding the pain and the beauty there as well. The poem I'm going to read of Joseph's is Mr. Glass. Broken and tattered, I seem made of glass, so fragile and easily shattered. Call me from china or porcelain, my emotions so delicate, sliced right through like water by a dorsal fin. My fragility is as dainty as a teacup. One thump of resistance and I'm all broken up. There is strength, however, in my vulnerability, for through my cracks my light shines clearly. As what inside gains more visibility, do not be fooled by my softer side. Do not mock my kindness as weakness, as I am as transparent as a window. So you see, this is no spoof. The glass I am made of may shatter and crack, but my spirit will never break, as it is impenetrable and bulletproof. That's a beautiful piece, Joseph. Thank you for contributing that to the anthology. I enjoyed reading all of the pieces that were submitted. Now I will move on to reading a few pieces that were submitted to our poetry prompts. This one specifically is a dove. One individual actually was able to see a vulture because art's writing, anything you do can be interpreted in many ways. So I kind of appreciate the fact that the dove that was presented for this prompt actually produced from someone a poem about a vulture. And so I will read Stuart Marshall's poem, The Praying Vulture. Distraught, evil, unclean carcass. I'll just close my eyes before the task at end from the disgusting, rotting, disease-infested meal I must consume or die. But what is the point when all around me is unfair, unequal, unsustainable, unchanging, unfathomable, unreasonable, boring, unruly, inflexible, stubborn, ugly, fake in its beautification, too accepting, too tolerant, too violent, too mealy-mouthed and weak? We cannot evolve from fists to sticks, to swords, to lead, to bomb, to cancel. We cannot evolve from fists to sticks to swords to lead to bombs to cancel culture to whatever next without a break, without a scar, without a reputation, ruin, a scorn, criticism, outright degeneration of character, libelous, slanderous, libel, and slander without the praying vulture. Dying mostly dead and face bloodied by the pounding of the fascist fists, fantastic felonies, fact and lies, falsehoods, blames, guilt, shames, more guilt, more shame, confusion and utter desperate, depressive mental anguish, angst and mind-soul bending destruction, bordering on the insanity accepted for the only option left. And the left, the left warriors with swords of interchangeable meanings, biological concepts, cultural and historical swords of binding sharpness, at the ready to slice us into innumerable genders, sexes, races, faces of innumerable colors, shades, tints, hues, half shades, half hues, along with petrified flaming pitchforks of immoral fires of nice and fair and equal and same and no choice and different ruling laws, to guilt and shame and bigger sticks and rocks. To bigger sticks and rocks glinting in the heat of the southern plantation sun, the dejanged jungle, seasick and ships at sea, the Anglo past where kings subjected the kingdoms of similar inequalities of what the future holds, fling to sell men, women, child, and families. For hope, for a buck, hope, and a future, hope, and existent and intended eventually of death, starvation, of a nation content of future. Boozemans and Washingtons and Winfreys and Washington Carvers and Crispus addicts and little kings and BBs and CCs and Obamas. The vulture flies half dead on its way to dead as its way to the dread of Western hope. For the past is attached to its swing. The past is attached to its wing, hiding among its feathers, hoping not to be discovered and being reminded of itself. And the next poem submission that I got was also from a Stuart, but it's from Stuart Dan. And it is untitled. Long ago you loved me so, I just needed to close my eyes, for the image I will see is that of our dove as she cries, to let me know that you are here by my side, flying for eternity. Sometimes I think that our dove whispers there is no place else to be, that our dove's reason she always stays is to shield from me all my pain. Our dove that had been sent to you, so with me you could still remain. With her all your presence surrounds me. In her tiny feet she carries your heart, that when I see still shows me how you always loved me from the start. Our dove is of the purest white as you are dressed in beautiful wings. There is a calmness of our dove gives me, that knowing she is there with me often brings. When my eyes again reopen, our dove will always disappear, though my mind after seems to be positive, as it still knows our dove is near. For I myself loved you like no other, out dove and constant reminder of this, never to leave me while we are apart, to comfort me, so you I never miss. Occasionally our dove makes a journey, so that she can visit you, taking my love. So also thank you from me for her freedom, so she will forever lovingly be our dove. That was beautiful. Just one moment. Sorry about that momentary. Now I'll move on to read one of my poems before we end the podcast for this evening. The title of the poem that I will be reading of mine is "Let Me Wipe Away Your Tears" by Marie Moldovan. I remember you said, "Hey little baby, wipe away your tears. Don't you worry, don't look so sorry. Let go of your fears, everything will be fine as long as I am here. I will always be yours despite your loud and ghastly snores. Hey little baby, let me wipe away your tears and your comfort your fears. Let me wipe away your tears and comfort your fears. Don't you worry. Listen to my story. Our bond is stronger than anything I have ever seen. You could put our romance on a movie screen. There was a time someone like you I would have walked by. You are not the type I would have had hanging about my arm in the past. Wait, hush. Don't react so fast. I mean that you're not my historically typical Barbie doll. You don't fret in a mirror for hours. You're unnatural. In my younger days, your kind was a bit too tomboy of a flavor for me to have savored. A little too independent for my liking. Not that it is bad thing. Not that it is a bad thing. I just used to be a little more superficial, all about the exterior special. Even with that being said, I know beauty. You'd never find me with an ugly gal. You're gorgeous, my little freckle face. Ugh, I hate freckles, but on you, it's a state of fashion and awakes in me a passion. Just once let me wipe the tears from your face. Just once let me wipe them from your face. I need you more than you need me, a reality I hate to admit. I've had to drop my act and let you in and let you in. We've been through thick and thin to hell and back. Even if you'd hate me, even if you hate to admit it, you're mine, baby. You're my little Casper Bumblebee. Hee hee. Our time together is so beautiful, it feels like a sin. Don't forget, I'm your king and you are my queen. Though some days it feels like the other way around because you often wear the proverbial pants of the house. Our relationship, a treasure trove of memory. We have faced many things together, survived many bumps on the road, went from wandering the streets in beggar fashion to building our own castle. Even at our lowest, you found a way to lift us up, inspire hope, find a way. You have always, you have a will about you that is to be desired, and I often find myself inspired. For you, baby, I would do anything. Let me wipe away your tears, console your fears. We'll always be together, you. I would never leave. Many a year you suffered, worked your fingers to the bone, and hustled so we'd have a home. You carried me on your back, looked after me, kept everything on track. For a long time I was sick, very sick, left to feel less than a man, watched my woman do all the work. Because of you, we neglected nothing. I know. I've been a lot of work. But finally, I have my health about me. It's time I give you something. You carried us this far, now let me carry you. I remember you said our worries were over, our worries were over. I remember you said, we'll finally have everything we wanted, and we will be given the gift of a new life. Deep down, I hoped it be true. I hoped it be true. Somewhere I knew something would happen. Something would rip away this dream we concocted. I hated myself for the gut-wrenching thought. I tried to shrug it away, let go of it before it grew into self-sabotage stew. I tried to believe we would one day be that old man and old lady pestering our children by spoiling our grandchildren. For a moment I allowed myself the denial. For a moment I allowed myself to dream with you. I let go of the nagging feelings, spent my days meeting you halfway, laying on the bed next to you, staring at the ceiling, dreaming, planning, and even conspiring a happy future with you. For a moment, I just let go. For a moment, I just let go. I put down the burden and released control, let you take the wheel. For a moment, I let you drive the flow and beguile me with the excitement in your voice as you planned our future. I let myself believe it true. I let myself believe it true. For a moment I let go, rode the wave with you as my driver, made with you many plans and dared to dream into life the right to be happy. Before I knew it, the elephant in the room appeared as if to laugh and say, "Ha ha, fool! You knew I'd land my ass here to squash your pipe dream." With your fantasy breath only 1 week away, the elephant in the room appeared as a cruel-hearted son of a bitch and shattered our dream. The motherfucker took you away from me, took your life away. For a moment I thought, should I let the son of a bitch take our dream away, take everything away? Should I? Should I give him that much power? It wouldn't be the same with you. Should I follow through for our daughter or let it go? Oh, fuck, I don't know. Yes, I do. Fuck that son of a bitch. He doesn't get to take everything away. Fuck him. Fuck that ghastly elephant in the room. Our daughter deserves to have everything as planned. I won't be the same, but I will follow through. I won't be the same, but I will follow through. Only because I know you would want me to. Ah, fuck. I hate that son of a bitch. It's time to wipe away my fucking tears and get to get this shit done. Enough wallowing in my self-pity, enough being mad at someone unworthy and allowing them to victimize my time any further. I miss you, baby. I'm pissed you're gone. I'm really fucking pissed you're gone. But your dream isn't dead, and I will breathe it into life, and I will grant you this one last wish. And I think that's it for this evening. I hope you enjoyed. Is there anything else you would like to add, Alicia?
I don't think so. Those were all amazing rights, and I really enjoyed them. Can't wait till next time.
Okay, so till next time, we say bye-bye and keep producing such fantastic ink for us to read because it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Take care.